All right, I'm going to call this September 10th meeting of the Airy Town Council to order. Let's start with the pledge. I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right. We have Victoria here tonight from American Cancer Society. Victoria, why don't you step on up to the podium?
Hi everyone, my name is Victoria Colosimo and I work for the American Cancer Society over in Eldersburg. I'm just here tonight to thank you all again for Mount Airy once again for hosting our Making Strides Against Breast Cancer Walk, which will be October 21st over at Watkins Park, and we'd love for everybody to get involved. We also have our Real Men Wear Pink campaign that we are doing again this year, which is the entire month of October. We're asking men to commit to wear the color pink in some way for the entire month, just to represent and to spread awareness for breast cancer. So if anyone is interested in getting involved in that, I can leave a few brochures in the back, but I appreciate you having me here tonight.
Thanks for coming.
And thank you for your work.
Yeah, leave a couple on the table.
So we don't have to start wearing pink till October.
I wear pink regularly,
Larry,
but not every
don't start
day.
early. Don't start early.
Pink ties,
Okay.
October.
All right, up next we have approval of the council meeting minutes, the August council, and the public hearing. I will, actually, I had a slight change. Pull out that copy. I mark one change.
In the minutes or in the?
In the minutes. I have
Okay.
one slight change in the minutes on the second page. Debbie?
Colleen for the minutes.
Okay,
Leave the
Colleen?
public hearing. Yes.
Second page, top paragraph, it says Councilman Helt removed first motion. It probably should be moved. We didn't pull, I'm not sure how we sort, but what we did is we basically amended the motion to
A
include.
removed first motion, it shouldn't say removed.
Well, I'm not sure how to phrase it. What we did is we amended the motion to accept Jason's idea about the
Boundaries.
the 200 feet, and then we moved the motion again. So maybe it would be
Amended.
moved,
Oh, put
Or
a dash.
because removed means pulled it, or
Well, you pulled it, but then you restated it.
yes,
Is there a
it
better
should be
Amended.
Restated.
amended first motion, yeah, that's a good way to, remove the word removed, and put amended first motion.
Okay.
Remove the motion. Okay, so I will move that both sets be accepted with that one change. Unless there's another change. Got Jason second. Anything else? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
That was unanimous. All right. Chief, you're up.
Good evening, everybody. Chief Reeds with the Mount Airy Police Department with the monthly chief's report. Kind of a light month as far as meetings and trainings. We only had 2 events. As far as community outreach, we'd had our first inaugural National Night Out at the Mount Airy Volunteer Fire Company Carnival Grounds.
That was a great event.
It was very well attended for a first-time event, and we had a lot of good comments. I'd like to thank the Mount Airy Volunteer Fire Company. I don't see Bruce out here anyplace.
He's
working the
in
polls.
charge of the polls.
He's at the polls, so we won't see him tonight. So, but I'd like to extend my thanks to them and all the allied agencies that attended and put up displays and everything, and all the vendors that came out to help us make it a successful event. Just so everybody knows, the donking booth made $500 for Mount Airy Net. So we will be presenting them that at a later time here in the near future. So, but that was for a couple hours. I think that was pretty remarkable. We had our back to school kickoff. First day of school, we had Mount Airy PD officers were present in all the town schools, make sure everything went smoothly. We also had our community services unit out there. They were greeting students and handing out pencils and giving them high fives and everything, welcoming them back to school. So we got a lot of good comments from the schools and parents on that as well. Significant events during the month. We had a couple issues with thefts from vehicles, a couple in our neighborhoods. One was up off of West Manor Court, and one was in off of Marydale Boulevard, so, and they were involving commercial, like, vehicles that had tools. One of the vehicles had about $5,000 worth of items taken from it. We also had another theft from a vehicle at the park and ride. So again, I remind everybody, as a saying, basically is lock it up, move it, hide it, or you can lose it. So everybody in town, make sure you keep your car doors locked. If you got valuables in your cars, again, take them inside. Don't give the criminal that opportunity to try to break into the car or take whatever. So usually you eliminate the opportunity. They're not gonna go through with the trouble, so. As far as the month goes, as far as overdose summaries, we had one reported overdose this month in the area of East Ridgeville Boulevard at the dead end, and Narcan was administered by a law enforcement officer, so that was the only one we had this month. So for the whole entire summer, we had 2. So,
That's down a good bit.
down a good bit, but still, one's too many.
Yeah.
That's, my position. We have one overdose, one's too many, so we'll keep on working on that, so.
But you did have the Narcan. You did
Yes.
The Narcan, and that was good.
Correct, yes.
Thank you, Chief.
As far as statistics or basically statistical summaries for the month, we had 64 traffic stops. We issued 149 warnings, 40 equipment repair orders. We had 3 DUI arrests for the month. We had a total of 180 traffic stops and made 2 basic traffic arrests for either driving while suspended or driving while revoked. On the criminal front, we handled 942 events. We had 6 arrests and issued 3 civil citations and handled 52 investigative reports. So, on the canine, as far as canine this month, we did have 2 scans, and we made 4 arrests out of those 2 scans and recovered methamphetamines and marijuana, and then also heroin.
Stryker did that.
Stryker did that, yes. So, that'd be
That's one impressive dog.
Chief's report. Does anybody have any
I
questions?
got to see him do his attack stuff at the,
Yes, he did. He
right
gave a
out.
great demonstration
yeah.
at the.
Yeah, I don't want to mess with him.
He bites.
Any questions, anyone?
No, just
All right, great.
you're
Thanks,
doing a great
Chief.
job. Thank you for your community outreach. I did receive some compliments on that, and I
Great.
called you.
I see we
Good
got one
job.
question.
Well,
Bill?
it's not a question, I just wanna say thanks to your officers who put up, schools in session, be careful, school zone signs. I've seen them over on this side, I would imagine probably Twitter has as well.
Yes, yeah.
And they went up pretty much as school was starting, so that was, I think, at the recommendation of local citizens, so appreciate how quick you were on that.
Thank you.
All right, thanks, Chief. We will, we'll get the Mount Volunteer Fire Company report with Bruce's election results. I talked to him about that earlier, and he said, yeah, we'll just do it all then. All right, community concerns, citizen comments. This is a little bit of time we set aside. If there's any citizens that specifically want to address the council with any issues, come on up to the podium. I see Carl getting ready there.
Name's Carl Munder, 2002 Fieldbrook Lane, Mount Airy. I have several things I'd just like to address to the council tonight, nothing long. First off is the upcoming charrettes for the downtown master plan. I saw that the times run from 10 to 6, and then with like a review period from 6 to 7. And I guess, I just want to make sure that the people that work late would have time to be able to come up to the charrette and provide their input. I just want to make sure that the 6 o'clock is not the end of the public comment period.
No, it's 6 to 8.
Yeah,
It's
they
6
vary-
to 8?
They
Yeah,
vary.
6 to 8, well into 8 o'clock, so.
For all nights, because I think the time on the website on the town has like,
They have just basically a wrap-up session each evening. On Wednesday night, they're gonna be working well into midnight, so that's their crunch
So-
session, and then they'll do a major wrap-up on Thursday evening, so,
So-
yeah, it's kind of like a summary, of what's been accomplished during the day. So the first day, the public really isn't allowed in until 6 in the evening,
Yeah.
because they're setting up their strategy, they're doing analysis and they're setting up their network and everything. So, first night it's only open to the public, starting at 6 to about 8 or 8:30, and then, the schedule lays out exactly how they're gonna, what they're gonna
Okay,
work on.
but people, but if they come in a little bit after 6, they still have the ability to put in the
Yeah, I mean,
input?
the door's open. It's not
Okay.
like the doors, you lock tight at 6 o'clock and everybody
Okay.
who's not in the building doesn't get in. No, I mean, the door is kept open until they're leaving for the
Okay,
evening, so.
oh, cool, it just was unclear by the scheduling, sorry, Bob.
And they also, I think they informed us that the website is now receiving.
Comments?
I don't have the website on you, but they.
Yeah, there's a link to the project website off of our website,
Okay.
so.
And they're taking emails, if you can't make it to one of these and have some ideas that you would like to be included, they are taking emails.
Right,
right, cool, that's what we
Melissa's
wanted.
provided a link
It's
to the
wide open.
project website off of the front page of our website.
Okay, cool. Second thing, I would like to thank the town staff for updating the Dorsey Town Master Plan Staff Report to correct the inaccuracies on the school capacity for Carroll County. That would have messed up with some stuff. I'm glad that they corrected that. Thank you, Monica.
Well,
for that.
I was gonna explain this a little bit later, but.
You can, I
The
just.
school enrollment, there were
Yeah.
two sets of school enrollments in one report.
Mhm,
And
yeah.
there was a great disparity in between the two sets of enrollment numbers. So I went with one set of enrollment numbers, and then, when I was able to connect with Bill Kane, the facilities planner in Carroll County, he clarified what set of numbers to use. He happened to be out of town when I was drafting that report. And so I made a judgment call and used that one set of numbers, and then he corrected me, so the plan was corrected.
The bigger issue is why Carroll County has very disparate numbers
Yeah.
in one single report.
Yeah.
That's the
Give you
bigger
that.
issue.
Yeah.
And we just guessed, Monica just guessed at which ones to use.
Oh, no, I would have, after
So-
reading the report,
Yeah.
I would have done the same
All right.
thing. You come to the first. One more thing, sorry. Put the Sewer and Water Commission hat on here for stormwater management. With the upcoming rain this week, and particularly with the potential for the hurricane to come up the East Coast, I would recommend that if anyone sees any clogged storm drains, to call town hall to have them come and unclog it. Also, if you see leaves laying on them, just come and try and open up the storm drains to
Our
prevent any
guys I
flooding.
know will be out patrolling
Okay.
the streets looking for that. They do that routinely when we have stuff
Okay,
like that.
cool.
Big storms.
Yeah,
That's it.
something like a hurricane like that is almost to them like a snowstorm.
Okay, cool. Just wanted to make sure we don't have flooding.
Cutting trees up that fall on the road, cleaning
Yeah.
stuff, yeah.
All right, cool, thank you. That's
Thanks,
it.
Carl.
Nothing that bad tonight.
Any more? All right, let's move on. Ordinances and resolutions. 2018-10 zoning map amendment to be adopted along with the findings and decisions for 4040 Twin Arch Road. This is the one where we actually had the hearing on. I will move that we accept both the zoning map amendment as well as the findings and the decision that Tom put together. Bob?
I will second that.
All right, any discussion on this? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
That was unanimous. All right, annexation resolution for Dorsey Town. This is the one Carl actually just mentioned. We need to accept the new report. And remember, accepting the report is not accepting the annexation. Accepting the report just says this is the report that's gonna go out to the public. We've changed the school enrollment numbers, so we just need to update the report so we can move forward in the process, so.
And I would make a motion that we do that.
All right, I will second that motion. And we also will need to set a date. We had an 11/5 date, but that won't work with the new report schedule. So let's start with voting on the motion. Any more discussion on that motion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
That was unanimous. And what about a date?
December.
Debbie, what dates would work? Because I know Debbie's the one who has to do all the advertising and meet all the deadlines.
I think we could do December.
So we have a December 3rd meeting.
Right.
Should be good.
What time will we, how much time were we planning to allow for this?
Well, for the November,
We doing a 7 o'clock, figuring to have,
5 minutes, yeah.
I think we established about 45 minutes.
so December meeting, would we start at, you want to
6:45.
start at 6:40, or do you,
That's what I have
or do you
written
want to start at 7 and just go a little later if it does?
I'd accept the 7 time.
You think the 7 time? And that way we're not wasting too much time if like there's really not a whole lot of discussion.
Yeah, not a problem.
7 sound good, Jason?
Yeah,
No,
fine.
Just, 7, Debbie.
Okay.
And we'll just start the council meeting a little late if we have to. So that will be set for
12/3 at 7?
December 3rd at 7 o'clock. And in these days of modern technology, we all need to update our calendars while we're thinking about it. Up next, budget amendment for Twin Arch Crossing Basketball Court. Larry, you wanna?
Yeah, let me, hey, Mary, can you put 12/3, 7 p.m.? Yeah. It's good to have a chief of staff in the, thank you. So, yes, I would make that motion.
All right, I will second that motion, so that is introduced, and it will be on next month's agenda. Next up, budget amendment, water tank number 1 rehab. That's there for introduction. That's my department. I will move that. This is really just an issue of moving money from last year, because you can see they're not done working the tank. It's been a holdup at MDE as far as getting the plan approved, which is why it's just sitting there at the moment. So we're moving money from last year to this year. It's money we already approved. So I will move that. We go with that budget amendment. We'll seconding that. Okay, it is introduced and it will be on next month's agenda. Ordinance 2018-13. This is an emergency amendment to do some repair on West Ridgeville Boulevard, repair and embankment. I will move that we accept that as an emergency amendment. Got a second from Bob. Any discussion on that one? Because it is an emergency amendment. Barney can fill us in on it, but.
Yeah, and Barney, you may discuss it a little bit. I had stopped by and talked to Barney today because I wanted to make sure all the people were, the residents were clear of exactly what we owned as far as that road goes. And I think Barney kind of came up with a map that explained it. That West Ridgeville, what's the road that it starts at there at Twin Ridge?
Park Ridge Drive.
Park Ridge Drive. So basically, that section of highway that you would assume is owned by state highway or the county or some other entity is not. It's actually owned by the
They turned it
town.
over to us a number of years ago. I can remember when I was on Streets and Roads, it was a state road, and at some point the state dumped it off on us.
About 12 years ago or
Yeah, about 12 years ago.
Yeah.
So we basically owned a mill bottom at this point.
Exactly. So West Ridgeville runs down that direction all the way up to Main Street. And then when you get to Main Street, then you hit East Ridgeville. And I just wanted to make sure that the residents understood that we're not spending money that somebody else should be spending. This is our road.
Is that
So,
the area right there?
The flooded area?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's all the way down. That's right at our border, basically, right at the guardrail.
Am I
Yeah.
seeing that
it's a
right
few
there?
extra
Culvert
maps if
maintenance
anybody
repair?
wants to see it.
You'll see the culvert maintenance repairs that, yes.
Is
Correct.
is this ours?
Yeah, we're actually handling that in-house, where the other 3 locations, you'll see we're putting in Gabions.
Because that's all
We're
over
doing through contract.
Okay. Thank you. I took a picture after the big flood. I went down to the picture.
Yeah.
Is that just from all the rain, runoff from like Rising Ridge
They
there?
said there's something down there they need to clean out every time that happens, and it hasn't been done in years or something like that.
Yeah, I mean, the county came out and did a little bit, but they need to clean out a lot more, so we can, where our sediment's just like slowing down, coming to their area.
So it is being
They
addressed.
really need to dig out a lot more than what's been done yet.
That'll be another hour on the picture.
Yeah.
Yeah, Barney, on this map, which area does this ordinance cover?
All right, so you'll see, all the way to the left, you'll see Mill Bottom Road, and to the right of that is the culvert maintenance repair.
Yes.
So our guys are handling that in-house for now. Phase 1, which is what we're looking at doing, you'll see 3 places. It says approximate location 1, proposed Gabion repair. So they're actually gonna build a box of rocks, a basket of rocks, wall, and fill behind it. And, right, thank you. And in 3 places, and that's where the stream is just eroding close to the white line of the road.
Okay.
And so, You'll see location 1, 2, and 3 are in there, and that's just giving you an idea of those 3 places that we're working.
So all 3 of those are phase 1?
All 3 of those
Okay.
are phase 1, yeah.
All right.
So Larry's question, I'm sorry, my mind is probably floating. What part do we own in Ridgeville?
This whole.
We own, not quite the mill bottom, just right at the culvert repair.
Right in here.
All the white side?
We don't actually own the culvert, we own just before the culvert, like right at the edge of the
That line goes
guardrail.
all the way to Mill Bottom Road.
Yeah, we don't own all the way to mill
Oh,
bottom.
so it says culvert maintenance repair, we're doing that in-house, but that's not actually ours?
We're actually doing some of that portion, yes, trying to
Okay.
clean that out.
In coordination with the county.
In coordination with the county, yep. And the state and the US Army Corps.
In coordination with the county, we're talking Frederick County.
Well, the problem you have is everybody meets right there.
Yeah.
I'm surprised CSX isn't in the mix too, because you can see
Yeah.
the track is right there.
We have an emergency permit with MDE on this project.
All right,
Well,
And this is Frederick County we're talking about.
yeah.
Frederick County, and I agree, it's gotta be, we gotta fix that, because, Lord knows, every time it rains real hard, we got issues down there, so.
Seem to be having a whole bunch of rains real hard this year.
And we're gonna get another one.
Any more discussion on this topic? And it is an emergency, so we need, Doc?
What's the cost of that?
180.
Any, okay.
Thousand.
So we need.
More than our table.
Okay, this is an emergency measure, so do we need all of us or 3 of us? What makes the cap? We need
4,
all
right?
of us, yeah, okay. So all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Okay, so we didn't have a problem.
Oof, that was a nail biter.
Well, I wasn't sure what our, because when there's 5 of us, we need 4 of us. So I wasn't sure if when there's 4 of us, if we need 3 of us, because I don't remember what the percentage is.
There is something in there for,
Yeah.
if you only have 4 at the table, 3 conducts a majority.
All right, ordinance 2018-14, budget amendment to purchase sewer camera system that was originally to be delivered in 17-18, but it will not show up until 18-19. This is here for introduction. I will introduce this since it's a water and sewer issue. I have a second on it. I see Bob waving his hand. All right, that will be on next month's agenda. That's just kind of like another housekeeping issue. Ordinance 2018-15, budget amendment Watkins Park Tennis Court backboard project. Larry, you want to move that one in?
I'll move it in.
All right, that's here for introduction. I will second it. That will be on next month's agenda. The PWA for Twin Arch Park has been pulled. Next up, we have the park manager hire. Mr. Mayor, that's really kind of your
Yeah, we sent out
project.
we went through a series of interview, given Larry's knowledge of the park system, I asked him to, help me out with the final interviewing process, and, it boiled down to one person after various things had occurred, and we sent you their resume and their reasoning for our recommendation. So we hope we get an affirmative from everybody.
I looked over the resume. I'm trying to, Larry, what was the name?
Gina.
Campanella.
Gina Campanella, okay.
Yeah.
It's not in our packet, so.
Uh,
You want to move that we?
I would
did hire?
move that we hire Gina Campanell as our parks manager.
All right, I will second that. Any discussion?
I think some of us know Gina from her work around town, and she's an outstanding young lady, and I think this would be a good move.
All right, great. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All right. That probably means Holly can go home now, right? No, okay. You got something further on, all right. Okay. Mayor and council reports, Mr. Mayor?
Gosh, already? First of all, happy birthday to Councilman Larry Hushhour.
Oh.
I wish him a happy
Oh, hey, Larry.
I'm at that age where I'm starting to shrink, so I'm not any taller.
He's 28, he's 28.
He shares a,
I'm too.
shares a birthday with my brother, so that's pretty good.
Yeah, Pat had his birthday too, so.
Yeah,
We're all in this
yeah,
together.
but he had it on the council meeting. I would like to introduce to the town council, and we'll make sure that we have Gina here to introduce her personally to you gentlemen. But at this point, I would like to ask John Breeding, please stand up. John Breeding was the planner we voted on last month, so I want you all to see his face, know him. Any questions, concerns, you know who you're looking at, you know who you're talking to. John, welcome aboard, thanks for being here tonight. Okay. We got that done, we got that done. On the heels of hiring the new parks manager, we do have some budgeting left over for the assistants at the park, at the skate park. What we would like to try is, and just to let you all know, the money is budgeted, but we're gonna try to staff the new museum. We have this beautiful new museum, this beautiful caboose, but our volunteers kind of fall off. We've been working really hard with volunteers. Again, I work closely with Larry on this, and it looks like the suggestion is for a Friday, Saturday, and a Sunday opening, and of course at all our events, which also provides public restrooms for our events. So we're gonna use the money that's already in the budget. Then we're gonna use it as a test to evaluate, and then the town council will have to decide in the next coming budget year, should we continue this practice or should we not?
Yeah.
But at this point, we do have the money. We're gonna have the new parks manager actually track the traffic. I'd like to see at least a month in the summer tracked, but we're gonna track it, see if it pays off for the citizens, it pays off for the town. We're still gonna work with our volunteers, but it's just, it's money there that we can use, and we'd like to get full use out of all the work that they did at the historical
Yeah, I'd be
society.
curious how Sunday works out, because everything's closed.
Well, a few of the restaurants.
Right,
are-
right, but all the shops are all
Yeah,
closed on,
the
I mean, it's
shops
pretty,
are closed. Now, Ben has a project that they're doing.
yes, the
They'll be
Sunday,
open every other Sunday from like 12 till 4. I think that's the time.
yeah, well, I'll be curious to see how it works out,
Yeah, and that's, pardon me, so,
and we'll get a count.
it's more like a test, and we're gonna get a count, and also with, NAM's, looking at some, under their past leadership did great, they have some new leadership that may bring in some new ideas, so maybe we'll see some more interest downtown, and we hope so. Going into my mayor's report, again, I put this one out, this is about school starting and to be careful. I'm so excited to hear about those chief signs that you all put out, I did not know about that, but we ask the residents to be careful at your bus stops. We know that your commute's getting longer, you're probably rushing, but our kids are running around now. We were also thankful again this year that on the Carroll County side, there has been no boundary adjustments or no school realignments. But let's keep an eye on this. It's very important for our town, and that's on the Save Maine's website.
Yeah, it's gonna be coming up.
Yeah. And again, I think it was actually Jason Poyer's wife that texted me about the excitement of the police department's outreach. That's just what we need, community policing. Let me see, I will be posting, I do have to update it this year for the students that are gonna need service learning hours. There's plenty of opportunities to do things right here in town. And you can help your town, you don't have to travel. So I'll be posting that very soon. Let me see, the downtown master plan, that is coming up. The dates are September 24th to 27th. There are various dates. Now, from what Monica was telling me, they're building, so it is good that you could show up at each one. There's benefits. It's not like one that's gonna be repeated over and over.
Right.
We do ask you to please be a part of forming your downtown. Remember, a lot of things hinge on this. The Flatiron Building, Park Avenue, Center Street, parking, housing our police. You know, we don't want to get away from, that was one of the issues that we were looking at. So housing our police, and there's probably a couple other issues I'm not thinking about, but it's a very important plan. We're investing a lot in it. I was very happy with the way they ran their first charrette. So please come out, be a part of the process. I want to highlight a pretty amazing citizen. The guy just makes you smile every time you see him. I'm going to highlight, he's a local DJ, Charlie Schultz. He was born and raised locally, actually in Damascus, but he's called Mount Airy home for 15 years. You may have heard of his daughter, Casey Schultz. She was the first person to have a day named after her in the town of Mount Airy. She is the international baton twirling championship, and she's still winning awards. At her young age, she's winning awards of people much older than her, and she's just doing phenomenal. So you knew all about Casey. She's a 6th grader. Let me see, moving down here. Charlie is an outstanding gentleman. He's immersed himself in the community. You'll find him on Thursday evenings at the Upper Deck Sports Bar, where he brings his DJ talents. He also makes it really fun for the people up there. You know, he plays all kind of games, bingo, solo cup stacking. He makes it very fun. Let me see. But more importantly, Charlie donates his time to charitable events. He's out at the Avis 5K. He donates to that. Let me see. There's other events that the Ambassadors 5K Challenge Fun Run, Cystic Fibrosis. I have a quote from Mary Beth Rook, one of the founders of Boot Camp 2171. They sponsor the ambassadors events that raise awareness for Parkinson's, something near and dear to Bob's heart, mine, and several other. He has a heart of gold. He donates these services nonprofit. He donates these services and he doesn't charge. He also was at the event that I held and he did not charge for it. He is also a school teacher. Let me see, and he starts this year at Baker Middle School. He's been teaching school for a while. So he's a really nice school teacher. He makes things exciting. He donates his time. And you don't have to be around 30, 40 years to become a gem in Mount Airy. Some of our younger folks are gems. So congratulations to Charlie Schultz, SchultzEntertainment.com. If you need to hire him, he also needs to put beans on the table. As we end our election tonight, I'd like to thank all the, I think one of the council,
We only have one candidate.
one
here.
came in. I'd like to thank the three people that stepped up to run for Scott Strong's vacant seat, Patty Washabaugh, Matt how do you pronounce it?
McDonough.
McDonough. Now the voting's ended, so I didn't give you an extra point. And Scott Sergio, I want to thank you all for stepping forward and running your campaigns, and everybody put a lot of work into it. For a special election, that was a lot of work. I actually want to make sure I point out that staff. This is your first special election, I believe. Outstanding job, staff. So let's give them a round of applause. Yeah, sometimes when you get first, I'd like to remind everybody that tomorrow is the 9/11 Patriot Ceremony that is coordinated by the Lance Corporal Dean Marine Detachment. It will be at Pine Grove Cemetery. It starts at 6:30. It ends around 7:15, which is good because we have a class that starts at 7 over at the Mount Airy Volunteer Fire Company. Doc, did you get signed up? Talk later. You're going to get signed up. So we'll be leaving there, and we're heading up to the class. They already know we're going to be about 15 minutes late. This is an open meetings class. Sometimes you hear people talk, and I guess it's a little discouraging being involved in the town politics about secret meetings and whatnot. We take that very seriously. Nobody more so than probably Bob King that yells at us every time we say something on Facebook, even if it's just like, where are we going to meet? Or what are you going to wear? Bob
You guys
says,
want to get
"No."
ice cream? Bob's like, oh, it's a secret meeting.
Secret, you can't have a conversation. But it is very important that we watch what we do, not at this table, that can be misconstrued. It has to be done in public. Maryland has gotten a lot stricter, and instead of just teaching one person from every commission, which is what we're supposed to do, we are actually going to open up to everyone on the commission. So we do belts and suspenders in Mount Airy. We take it very seriously.
And once we all get, once everybody that attends will be certified, so that we will have more than one certified people at each meeting, hopefully. Yeah.
One certified people, what do we got? Okay, well, and the last thing, and the text didn't come in time, we have Oktoberfest that's going to be here on Saturday, October 29th.
No, September.
I'm so sorry. It says September. I read something else. September 29th. We're going to close the streets down. It's our first Oktoberfest. We don't have beer sprouts. They're going to work on craft beer next year for you, by the way, just so you know. I know that was.
Ashley and I were talking about that this morning, about
Yeah.
bringing in a bunch of breweries.
Okay, good. So you know about
She had some
that.
great ideas.
They're going to be there. And really, it's interesting because the organizer, Pam Reed, that's MAMSA president, and MAMSA, one of their board members is back there, Wayne, and I don't see Dick. But anyway, Pam actually just
He's
got.
still counting votes.
She just got back from Germany. So this is going to be a pretty authentic Oktoberfest. It ought to be a lot of fun. Everybody come out.
And they say the mayor taps the first keg.
It's what your town.
That
Yeah, but
apparently
y'all
is the
join me
tradition.
out.
That
Oh.
apparently is the German tradition.
It
The mayor of the
is.
town taps the first keg.
I actually tapped a keg in Westminster, and it was a lot of fun. But you all are going to be part of that process. Do you have the reappointments?
Yeah.
And to end my report, I would ask the council's approval on, and I thought for sure we just appointed Elmer Bailey.
I
but-
know, I feel like the same thing, but I looked back and I didn't see it, so
All right,
I'll
but we're gonna
double check.
reappoint Elmer. You know, he's still on probation. We're gonna reappoint him. We're gonna reappoint, we'd like to ask your permission to reappoint Elmer Bailey to the Economic Development Commission and Mark Moxley to be reappointed to Water and Sewer.
And you had one more.
And Kathy Balderson to Recycling and Sanitation. That's a new one, so.
Bob?
And I would move that we retain all of those people.
I will second that. Any discussion?
One thing about
Missed the Oktoberfest.
Elmer he has learned how to participate in meetings, and he is a very, very effective man. Being a business owner on EDC, he's just been a joy to have on there.
Any discussion, anyone? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Unanimous. All right, is that it?
That's it, thank you.
All right, Larry, beautification, Parks and Rec.
All right, start by giving a shout out to Starbucks, who brought a big carafe of coffee out to the election today. So we appreciate them supplying that. So I think, Doc, do you coordinate that? Thanks. So, because I need my coffee. So beautification. Let's see. Still need two new members. Still have 2 openings available. August 21st, the Master Gardeners walked Rails to Trails with Tina Swanson and Beverly Blatchford to identify invasive plants out there. And then they passed that knowledge on to Gina, who went out later on a work day that the NJROTC performed. And I'll cover that in the Parks report. Trash can arrived for Vest Pocket, and we have one for the train station as well. I'm not sure if it's been put up yet, but if it hasn't, it will be soon. And elected our secretary, Beverly Blatchford, which means she was actually there at the meeting, so we could tell her. So next meeting is September 18th at 7 p.m. On the Parks and Rec side, we had our Galatians 6-2 run on September 1st, very successful. Had a great morning for that one. That was our most recent 5K. We also had at our camp night, we had our first ever Mount Airy, we called it Olympics. We're going to be changing that title in the future. But that was performed to have some competition between the counties. Went extremely well. The young man who organized it did a great job, and we had a movie night that night as well. And the camp night was very successful with another movie that we played, which was Sing. And we had about 100 people at camp night, and I think I counted 22 tents. And it's probably the best night of sleep I've ever had at a camp night. Probably because I'm getting older, so I can, just zone out. So, yeah. Celebrate Mount Airy was a great event. I think a lot of us attended that on August 25th, so good job to Ashley on that town event. And the grand opening at the museum occurred. I don't know if anyone else was going to mention that, but we all showed up for that. Museum's incredible. If you haven't been into it, take some time, get over to the museum and check it out. The displays are mind-boggling in some cases, and
They were really quality. I was really impressed.
Yeah,
At the
Really,
quality that they
real
put
good.
together. I was very impressed.
yeah, certainly a shout out to Mike Eco and all the volunteers. They read off a list. It's more than I could read off tonight. The basketball court is the construction is underway. I made a mistake. They started it on Tuesday, I believe, showed up with a backhoe, and Heather, Michael asked the vendor, how long will it take? He said 2 weeks. I turned to him and I said, well, unless we have a hurricane. And apparently we're about to have a hurricane. So that may take 3,
Boy, Larry,
maybe 4 weeks.
I think a pilot would know better.
Well, that's true. In aviation, you never suggest something you don't want to have happen. So, but the good news is it's underway. It's going to be real nice, not interfering with the soccer fields that are out there. However, I've already been approached by one soccer coach who said, thanks a lot for making a big mud pit that all the kids are running through. So, the Parks Board is still evaluating the usage of the skate park pad. That will continue probably for several months. It is very useful for those 5K events to pitch the pop-ups out there and everything. Last month I was invited to a Kiwanis meeting and to talk about Prospect Park. And so discussions are going on about how Kiwanis, they're the ones who built Prospect Park. And I was given a lot of information about it. And it's commendable the way they went in there and cleared that whole area, and Prospect Park was created. It reminds me of the whole Rails to Trails thing when we started. It was just a mess. And they did all the cleaning up. So, you know, I appreciate everything that Kiwanis did. And it was a great meeting. And at the end of that meeting, they actually made a donation that was used to buy some gravel to put on Rails to Trails, which was much needed because of all the rain that we'd gotten. It coincided with Seven Springs Landscaping having the ability to get out there with a ditch witch and actually spread the gravel out prior to the August 25th event, to celebrate Mount Airy. So shout out to Seven Springs for coming out and doing that in gratis. Didn't pay a dime for it. And then the Frederick NJROTC showed up on August 23rd and started clearing debris out of the trail from a couple of the fallen trees, and you know, put in about 3 hours of hard labor back there on a hot day. So I really appreciate them coming out. And Gina actually got her feet wet out there by literally by going out there and helping them identify the invasives and clear out some of those invasive plants. The next meeting for Parks and Rec is September 20th at 7 p.m. And that's my report. Thank you.
What, you're on that, you know, they have an app that you can identify plants, I just found.
Is that right?
You take a picture of the leaf and it'll tell you what it is.
I'm trying to find out around my
Yeah.
beach property why I keep breaking out every time I go in the woods. I found the app.
All right, EDC planning, Bob?
The planning commission won't be having a meeting next month, or this month, because of the charrettes fall right when we're supposed to be having our meeting, so that's not gonna work. We do have a sign workshop scheduled, and I don't remember when it was.
It's rules and procedures
Yeah,
workshop.
Rules and procedures, oh, okay. Sorry about that. And I still don't remember when it was.
Tom's working on the sign ordinance.
18? Okay,
Maybe we should give you a report.
The next DC meeting will be October 29th at 7 o'clock. Farmers market is still going on. I think we go through September the 22nd.
End of the month,
the last
yes.
one.
Yeah, end of the month.
And so they still have a lot of good produce, a lot of good stuff out there.
There's a good crowd Wednesday.
Yeah, please make your way out there. It's a huge crowd now. Let's see, EDC, well, the Oktoberfest, the Downtown Master Plan, all of these things have already been discussed. But EDC is busy with MAMSA, EDC and the Chamber all working together to try to do something about downtown and see if we can't make it profitable to be down here for some of the business owners. And that's all I've got.
All right. Sanitation, recycling, and sustainable Maryland. Jason?
Sustainable Mount Airy Commission.
It says sustainable
I know,
Maryland
it keeps
certification.
changing. I have no
Okay.
idea why.
It's a little different here, so I was just saying sustainable
I
Maryland.
know,
I figured
it's
we'd know
a
what it
different
was.
name every time. Sustainable Mount Airy Commission.
We'll get together with Debbie so that the right name
All
gets
right.
on here.
I'll make sure. So we're looking at taking some action steps and becoming a Tree City USA. We're looking at community garden space, and that's going to be ready for planting in the spring 2019. We're going to be looking at adding pet waste bags to all the parks throughout the town. Currently, the dog park, and there's a few pet waste bags that's in past, but we want to make sure that they're throughout the parks. We're looking at expanding our Buy Local campaign, which was discussed recently at EDC, and then they collaborated for a Buying Local discount card. So we're looking at expanding that. We also looked at a plastic awareness campaign, and that's just to reduce the usage of plastics throughout the town. Our team continues to investigate projects to increase its points for recertification in 2 years. Our recycling sanitation meeting was moved to the 26th. It was on the 19th, so it will now be on the 26th, and that time is at 7 p.m. at Town Hall.
Would that be September the 26th?
Yes.
All set? Is that it?
You don't have your meeting though, because you have charrettes.
We
Okay.
have an
All right.
we have an EDC.
Streets and Roads does not have a current councilman, but will before the meeting's over, I believe.
EDC.
My understanding is the mayor will be appointing whoever wins immediately before we're done. Water and sewer, that's mine. We did have a meeting this month. We're no longer discussing rate increases at the moment, which everybody I'm sure would like to hear. But we are still monitoring the situation. We looked at the rainfall totals over the region over the last 6-8 months, and yeah, there's plenty of it. There's a lot, every now and some years we look at it and we can see we're a little down. Well, we're way above this year. So there's plenty of water going to the water table. Big discussion has been a lot of the plans for the various stormwater management ponds, because there's all these new regs coming out that require you to destroy perfectly good stormwater management ponds and fill them with concrete, which is what we're doing over in Marydale. The guys on that commission have heard me complain about this one, because that was, to me, a perfect stormwater management pond. It was like exactly what it's supposed to be. And if you go there now, you'll see them tearing it up because of unfunded mandates coming down from the federal government. There's going to be probably several $1 million of stormwater management upgrades that are going to need to be done on the Frederick side, over towards East-West Park and everything over there. We've been discussing the designs of that, and this is going, they've got ideas for like multiple pools flowing down, and that's going to be a big dollar expense that we're going to have somewhere in the next few years. So we've been discussing that topic. Our next meeting will be October 3rd, and just so you guys know, September 22nd, that Saturday, I will be at MML in Annapolis. That will be the beginning of the meetings for next year's conference, since I'm on the conference committee again. And that would be water and sewer. Monica, town administrator.
That stormwater management project that you're talking about in Frederick County is, right now, it's estimated at $2.8 million, just to let you know.
Okay, several million.
It's a very
Leads
scary
to a
number.
question. Would that come out of the water and sewer balances or the general
We would,
fund?
I'm sure we would pursue a low-interest loan for that project.
Okay, we get a loan. Okay.
We might pay a little bit of cash for the engineering, but I would imagine we'd pursue a low-interest loan.
And the final decision will be council.
Right,
Okay.
absolutely.
All right.
So we're looking into that right now. They're in preliminary design right now for that facility. I just want to let everybody know that Barney is getting his drone pilot's license, and he has been flying aerial photographs around town, which
They're
are
impressive.
really useful. And we are going to start to incorporate those aerial photographs into our staff reports for subdivision plans, for site plans, and he is also going to fly several locations for our downtown master plan charrette to provide for existing conditions. So I think that's really useful. The other thing I wanted to tell you guys is that this storm Florence is no joke. We've already had 34 inches of rain since April. I had Terry check with me. That's what we measured at the wastewater treatment plant. So I'm already starting to get messages from the Emergency Operations Center in Frederick and Carroll counties, and those will be posted on our website. So just keep abreast of that, because we're probably going to have some road closures. And definitely the outer cone goes to Virginia, but that doesn't mean that we won't be affected by some sustained rain through basically the next week. So any emergency notices for road closures and precautions will be posted on our website for everybody to see. Good.
Thanks, Monica.
Great job, Mike.
Town attorney's report.
Over the last month, I worked on the findings and decision for 44 Twin Arch. Also attended the Planning Commission meeting on two topics. One is the current version of the sign ordinance, which they've asked that I redraft to make it compliant with Supreme Court precedent, as well as on their draft rules, and particularly the issue of ex parte communications relative to their proceedings. Also responded to a Public Information Act request, or assisted Debbie on that. And finally, I'm able to report hearing back from Rob Scranton as to the Plummery parking lot, that he has accepted all of the terms that we had last proposed, which includes essentially a lease of the parking lot, at the end of which the town would come to own that.
And the dollar amount was in the 4,000 range?
That's correct. It basically reimburses him for building the wall.
Just make sure, which is fair.
Yeah, and making permanent, as opposed to merely temporary, two of the rails to trails easements, and also relative to the parking lot that's right near Ben Goose place as well.
So Barney, how many spaces was that again that we're gonna add? And we were actually ready to take this off the books. 'cause
Right,
we were
I
just-
thought you were.
I was gonna take it off the books. It was just sitting
I think it
too
was
long.
23 spaces.
So we're just added 23 spaces downtown. Thank you, Rob Scram.
And just so everybody understands, the parking lot that we're talking about is if you're coming up Prospect to the stop sign, take a left and almost an immediate left into that
If someone
parking
sits
lot
on that
on
little
top of the
hillside there
hill,
across
yeah.
from the bank building.
It'll also, we're moving a lot to do things downtown. We're moving
Right.
with the shred. This will also give us an opportunity to clean up that lot a little bit. We do have some vehicles there that'll have to be removed. So, good job.
All
Fine.
right.
Thank you, Tom.
Yeah,
All right, we
One
have
more,
the,
one more
Yep.
question. So the easements through the rail yard parking lot are permanent?
Will become, so, we
Yes.
currently have a temporary,
Yes,
right of access over the, what we call the flower shop property,
Okay.
or the
yes.
VSP property is what we call it. And also, there's a temporary one over the bank,
Mm-hmm.
parking lot, and that would become permanent.
Excellent.
yeah.
That was very nice. I didn't realize you all attached that to my negotiations, but good job.
All right, we have the code enforcers report. Do we need a closed meeting? Obviously, we don't for a new hire, since we voted on that, but do we need it for rails to trails or cold storage or police station?
I say yes.
You say yes? I'll certainly go along.
I have a couple questions about that.
Okay, so let me suggest and see what you guys think. I'm thinking, since we're still waiting for Bruce, do we want to go into a closed session, go upstairs, do the closed session upstairs, and then come back? Hopefully we'll be done when Bruce comes in, and then we just come back down and pick up here and get the election results and then be done.
Sounds good.
Fine,
Does that sound like,
fine.
okay. I will move that we go into a closed session for the purposes of the acquisition of real property for a public purpose and matters directly related thereto, listed here, possible police station, rails, trails, and cold storage. Do I have a second? Bob is seconding. Councilman Helt is an aye. Hushhour. Poirier.
Aye.
King.
Aye.
Okay, so we'll go upstairs, and then we'll come back down.
Barney.
Okay. All right.
We're still double checking some things, but the results are clear enough that we can report based on what we have. First off, I'd like to thank my committee, Dick Swanson, Mark Moxley, and Anne Marie Duckett for all their work all day, plus the town staff for preparing for the special election. This was our first time doing a special election, and we were very pleased with the results considering the weather and all that we had today. There are 4,242 voters in Carroll County registered, 2,865 in Frederick, for a total of 7,107 eligible voters. We had a total of 709 machine votes cast and 30 absentee ballots, resulting in a total of 739 votes being cast. That comes out to like 9.9%, so let's call it 10%, which is a really good turnout, especially for a special election, the first time. That's one of our highest turnouts we've had. So we are very pleased with that. So, the results. McDonough, 48. Sergio, 249. Washaball, 441. And 1 for Heather Hobbs. So those are the results of the special
All
election.
right. I will move that we accept those results. I see a second from Jason. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. I will also move that we accept the mayor's recommendation of Patty to go on to streets and roads.
That is my recommendation.
Is that second? Second? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
I don't
Does the
think there's...
press need the numbers again? Everybody got the numbers? 48, 249, 441.
All right, we have any other business? Then I will move we adjourn. I got a second from Bob. All in favor, say aye. Aye. And I want to thank all the candidates. This was
Yeah,
great.
congratulations, everybody. Good job. Congratulations, Patty.